Okay, catching us on WHGE. The camera doesn't have a whole lot of wire, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna put it on my page to go live. My own page, y'all. We live on WHGE. We live on Pat Gibbs' page. Let's see here. All right. You know what? Let's get it started. Hold up. Let me get my stuff. Got my stuff. All right. All right. Hey.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego. We do so because it changes the impression on people's minds of deep and difficult to move out.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your Open Eye host and third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. Here we are again, ready to get it going. Yeah, I know you caught my little special broadcast the day before the primary election. I hope you did. I hope you voted. Yeah, we had some winners and some losers. Did Wilmington win? That's the question. It was a win-lose situation for Wilmington. Unfortunately, we still got the same mayor, but fortunately, we have a new president of city council. Trippy Congo will be the new president of city council. Unfortunately, we lost one of our best on city council, and that's Sam Guy. Sam Guy is a strong voice for the people. Sorry to see him go. We got a lot going on. Something I mentioned during my special broadcast for Election Day was the fact that the FOP, for those that may not have said it, for those that don't know what the FOP is, that's the Fraternal Order of Police, that's the police union. That's the police union. They endorsed the orange disaster. Just a damn shame. But that lets you know what their mindset is. Because they endorse a racist, misogynist, incompetent fool. Because that's what the orange disaster. And for those of you that don't know who I'm talking about when I say the orange disaster, hey, cousin Arlene. For those of you that don't know who I'm talking about when I say the orange disaster, I'm talking about Trump, 45. Refused to call him president. Unfortunately, he will be appointing the next Supreme Court justice. Ruth Ginsburg died yesterday, which means there would be an open seat on the Supreme Court. See, this is one of the reasons, in spite of my strong misgivings about the Democrats and the Democratic ticket with Biden and Kamala Harris, one thing we don't need is for the Supreme Court to be overwhelmed with conservative justices. Ruth Bader Ginsburg tried to hang in as long as she could so that the orange disaster wouldn't be in office to appoint another Supreme Court justice. Hopefully the Democrats stand up and do everything they can to even block the vote from coming to the Senate floor. Filibuster, pull out some archaic rules, whatever you have to do to keep the orange disasters appointee from coming to the Supreme Court. Like I said, I'm getting right to it, y'all. I ain't wasting no time. I ain't wasting no time. That's for damn sure. And one of the things that come up during all this mess with the election are the killings in Wilmington, the shootings and what have you. I got something on that right here. Let me get to it. Because it was yesterday, one of my neighbors came running down the street from live on 8th and Walnut. Right there on 8th Street, 6 shots went off. People ducked in the local corner store to get out of the way of danger. It's crazy. These young people out here shooting each other, man. We in a burning house, you know, there's a saying that goes, when you're in a burning house, where 2 people are in a burning house, you can't stop to argue. 2020, one of the worst years for shootings. Worst year for shootings since what, 2017? Year to date, we've had 105 shootings, 18 homicides, 134 victims, 18 homicidal incidents. There's actually 21 people killed. 2017, by this time, there were 32 people killed. The average suspect's age is 23.4. I had to wonder about that because these shootings are going on amongst, you know, some really young people here. The average age of the victims, 26. Now, the last report I have, 27-year-old was shot dead in Price Run Park. It was Monday night of this week. What has the mayor done to address this violence? I got a whole list of shootings that went on here. Now, I know we got some people that say, well, you can't talk about Black Lives Matter and brutality when we're killing each other. Well, let me tell you something. So you have to talk about this in the proper context. Because as a rule, when it is a young Black person shot in our community, the suspect goes to jail. If you know who they are. When the police shoot an unarmed Black person, and I said person because it's men, women, and children that they shoot. When that takes place, 8 out of 10 times, the police are put on an administrative leave, given a desk job, just taken off the street, continues to collect his paycheck, and the victim is vilified, made the cause of his own demise or her own demise. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I got one right here. What's up, Tony? Kyle? All right. Tell your father I'm on, Kyle. Police killed at least 164 Black people in the first 8 months of 2020. 164 Black people. First 8 months. From January to August. More than 160 people. And that's from the CBS News analysis. And for its analysis, CBS News used data from Mapping Police Violence, a comprehensive database of killings by police officers, and the Washington Post. The data featured in a slideshow described killings of 85 Black people this year between January and April. The data also showed that at least one Black person was killed by police every week. At least one. Every week. From January 1st through August 31st. When the report was released, only 2 states, Rhode Island and Vermont, did not have a single Black death caused by the actions of the police. In a summer where the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Rayshard Brooks have received national attention, there are dozens of others who only received a local news report. And that's what's going on. The FOP here endorsed the orange disaster. Like I said, it tells you their mindset. You know, belief in the police. Are those in the dominant society? Let me tell you something. Tell you how great the police are. In Wisconsin, years ago, Wisconsin cops were so great. One time, they returned a 14-year-old back into the care of Jeffrey Dahmer, who then ate him. And one of those cops is police chief now in Wisconsin. Is a police chief. This is a fact. The young Asian teen pleaded to police for his life. They believed the white guy instead. They took the white guy's word instead. And that white guy was Jeffrey Dahmer. He then raped, killed, and ate the teen. And that officer went on to get a commendation and a salary increase and the trust of the state. The kid was also in the street naked, crying and bleeding from his rectum, which was clearly running down his legs, and Dahmer still convinced the cops this was perfectly normal behavior in their relationship. So yeah, you trust police, huh? They're going to do the right thing. They're going to protect and serve. Yeah. That's that young boy that Jeffrey Dahmer ate. Oh, you can't kill him because he's gone. This is what we're dealing with, y'all. Now, when we as Black people protest against this, damnedest thing is that the dominant society, white supremacy, has the audacity to question the patriotism of Black people, which I don't understand, you know, what we go through here in America. But Black Americans are actually the most patriotic Americans. Whether you believe that or not, it's a fact. We are the most patriotic Americans. We served before we had freedom. We served in the military before and during Jim Crow. We served while we were being lynched. We continue to serve during police brutality. We served while America continued to fly Confederate flags, and we continue to love and forgive America. Don't talk to Black people about honoring your damn flag. Don't do it. Don't have the audacity. We have been some of the biggest sacrificers for this nation of any race. White, Hispanic, Asian, or otherwise. This is Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs. The Open Eye is brought to you by, hold on. The Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Founders and builders of the Pearl Center, the veteran-specific apartment building. The Delaware Center for Homeless Vets has started a new program. Attention homeless or formerly incarcerated veterans. You're looking for a career? Who qualifies? Vets with at least 1 day of service past training. You need to want a job? Discharge above dishonorable? The new HDRP, that's Homeland Veteran Reentry Program, is designed to assist formerly incarcerated vets, reentry vets, homeless vets, and at-risk vets obtain training, secure jobs, safe housing, veteran benefits, and self-sufficiency. Contact the Delaware Center for Homeless Veterans at 302-691-7411. All right. Like I said, we are brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Veterans. Hey.
Any content provided by Open Eyes hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to belong to any religion, ethnic group, company, or industry.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station, advocating for the people of Wilmington. I'm your host, Patrice Gibbs, getting it in. And in the building is Nsoromma. He'll be on the air in a second here. While he gets set up, give you a little history lesson here. One of the things that we deal with as veterans is PTSD. Now, the ancient Africans dealt with PTSD. Like all people, there were times they went to war, but they dealt with it in a spiritual way. When a man returned from war, he would have to live with the local shaman or spiritual leader for 3 months to do spiritual work. The human spirit is off balance after war, and this is done to restore harmony to the soul. This is one of the many practices that have been lost due to African colonization. Restore harmony to your soul. This is one of my favorite true stories about Africa. Listen to this, y'all. Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia lived from 1844 to 1913. He was named after the son of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Not only did he modernize his country by bringing in electricity, schools, hospitals, telegraphs, and such, he kept his nation free. While Europe divided most of Africa for themselves during the 1880s, the Italians attempted to gain a protectorate over Ethiopia by having Emperor Menelik II sign a treaty in Amharic, while the Italians had another in their own language. Menelik's wife, Empress Tatu, tore up the treaty. Menelik secretly obtained weapons from France and Russia, and his wife also recruited female warriors to join in the battles, similar to the Black Panther movement. He shocked the world by fighting and defeating Italy. at the Battle of Adala in 1896, bringing shame to Italy, but hope to the people of African descent around the world. Haile Selassie, who became emperor in 1930, was his cousin. Read about him in Joseph Harris' book, Africans and Their History. Yeah. Menelik shut him down. Yeah, that's right. Morning there, brother. What's up? What's up? Nsoromma in the house with us. Yeah,
it's good. Good morning, everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out there, man.
Oh, it is.
I just passed like 5 different police raids or something.
Wow.
On the way over, man. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
It's going on out there. I was just talking about yesterday when there was a shooting on 9th Street near the Brown Bag Deli.
What?
Yeah, 6 shots ran off.
Go get food right there.
Me, you and me both. I lived down the street from there.
Word.
And one of my neighbors told me about it. She came running down the street, you know, or booking down the street, and told me what happened.
Booking, I ain't heard that in the day. Booking, yo.
Yeah. And she told me 6 shots went off, and people ducked off the street and ran up in the Brown Bag.
Word. I did the same thing.
Yeah. And you know, Brown Bag, they keep it going. They kept right on doing business.
Most definitely.
Y'all want to order?
You want sausage? Scrambled eggs? Yeah, give it on. Give it up.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah. Cook it up. Yeah, that's word.
I was on the way too. I was on the way listening, coming in too, man. I was like, yo, the way that, you know, the actual white advantage is pushed, whereas though Jeffrey Dahmer ate the bull.
Ate the boy. Yeah.
I was listening to that on the way in, and the dude that handed him back to him became the sergeant and the
chief of police.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, man,
yeah.
If you can't see that, if you don't see nothing wrong with that,
you know,
I mean,
you know,
that's the stuff that we be talking about in the open eye, when it's like people don't really understand what we be meaning, or we sounding too one-sided, because sometimes in situations it's only one side.
Right.
You know, we have to recognize that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? That's crazy, man.
Yeah, you know, and the boy's bleeding from the rectum.
Right, I heard you. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And this guy didn't think nothing of it and just said, "Okay, go ahead."
Yeah.
Just give him. He should be locked up. How is he the whatever? He couldn't even detect the crime going on. This guy ended up being a dude that ate 15 people and all this. He could end up being a serial killer.
Yeah.
And this guy goes on to be someone that makes a decision at the end.
And authority on the police force.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man.
That's crazy.
It's bugged, man.
That's
this is what they do.
Think about that.
Yeah. You know, and then, you know, how many times have we seen the police roll up on somebody, you know, for BS? Wasn't nothing happening, but you know, they're going to question them and this, that, and the other. You know, the person wasn't doing nothing. They said, you know what? I'm going to put the cuss on you.
Or give me your ID. You know, you don't have a reason to even claim my ID.
Right.
So why are you looking for my ID?
Right. You know, we see that go on. And then turns out the only charge, is resisting arrest. Okay. That's confusing. How can you get arrested with your only charge being resisting arrest? That literally means you committed no crime except to say, no, I'm not going with you since I committed no crime. And people want to talk about, well, if you just cooperated with the police, you know, you wouldn't have gotten in trouble. I didn't do nothing.
My thing is why they only do that to black people.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear white people saying what we're saying, period.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, that's the whole thing.
White people stand up there and cuss the cop out.
Right, that's the whole thing.
Hold a gun.
That's where it lies at, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even consider coming up to white people doing what they do to black people.
No.
So put that in your head and stop acting like we got a problem with that. It's a problem, period.
It is. You know, and we're not the ones with the problem. We are the victims of the problem.
Right.
You know, what you've been hearing about a lot lately is Karen.
Karen, the Karen that call on people. That Karen.
Yeah, the Karen that call on people.
I don't even get them. I don't even go with the trend.
I heard that.
It was a stupid person.
Right. You know, but you know, it's going beyond. It's going beyond calling the cops on people, because now they're doing all kind of crazy stuff.
What's the latest?
Oh, one had the lady jump up on the counter in Wendy's, talking about she wants some effing food.
A white lady.
Yeah. Jump up on the counter, cussed out the whole staff in there. You know, and they wouldn't serve her because she didn't have no mask.
Oh, okay.
You know. Look, let me run this. I saw this on the book. I go, okay. And just apply it to something else. I don't turn on my headlights because I'm not a sheep. I refuse to live in fear. I can see just fine. I respect your choice to use your headlights, so respect my choice not to. If other drivers can't see me, that's their problem. Kind of dumbness is that. It may be the law, but it's unjust and infringes on my constitutional right to be in the dark. And I have a medical exemption, and you are not allowed to ask me about it. And I'm a member of the Freedom to Drive in the Dark Committee. And to see how dumb that sounds, that's how dumb you sound when you won't wear a damn mask.
I mean, it ain't about you. If it's something that'll kill other people and it affects other lives, it's definitely not about you.
Yes, that's it exactly. It is not about you. You know, it's about, you know, keeping this social distance. It's about keeping safe, being safe around. And it's just, man, I shouldn't even have to explain that. But, you know, the crazy thing, that one sentence that stood out to me is, I'm not sheep. And I seen some black conscious, so-called conscious people, you know, that's one of their big things. I'm not a sheep. I'm not a sheep.
Did you hear the way the president and all that he has the media actually talking about the Democratic Party?
Okay.
They don't even consider the Democratic Party anymore. You know what they're calling them?
What?
Herd.
Yeah, see,
They
the Democratic herd.
If they just calling everyone's going with the herd, you know, they ain't even saying Democratic herd.
No, they're just saying just the herd.
Exactly.
See,
now that is so discriminative. It's ridiculous.
It is. And you know what? And that's why I blasted out them brothers that put out that letter that criticized anybody that didn't vote for Patrice, because that was the term they used, the herd.
Right. How you gonna call people that was the first people sold in their on their the first product sold,
right, on Wall Street,
yeah. Right, and they were called herd then.
They were called cattle,
herd, all of that.
Yeah.
So we were that first product as a people for the United States government to get popping. And now they want to go back to make America again and control this herd.
Make America great again
And control this herd. I mean, we have to really understand what the media is doing to us as a people. Also, it's serious, man.
It is, man.
It's serious.
You know,
I've never seen over.
Like you said, make America great again.
I've never seen this level of open discrimination and killing racism. It's never been this, in my eyes, bad. I have never seen it this bad. And it was bad then.
It was bad then.
Yeah. So this is really, you may not, we as blacks haven't responded like we did back in the day yet.
In spite of the protests and what have you.
The protest, it ain't about protest, it's war.
Yes.
So we haven't responded in a war mentality yet.
No.
So when that happens and the government of the United States and all of them want to go into the rebel against us, that's when it'll kick in. Yo, what you just was saying about having no ID and being arrested for nothing, that's when that kick in. They want us to go to the level of us responding in a war fashion so they can really jump on us.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So we have to attack in smart ways.
Right. You know, and like I said, you know, and I've said this many times, you have to understand global white supremacy and what its plan is. And what's going on is genocidal activity. So it's not just about freedom. It's about survival. You need to understand that. You know, we are not trying to start a race war. We're trying to end one. And that war is on our people. And how are you going to sing Kumbaya with a people that have decidedly declared war on your whole race? We didn't call for this war. They decided. They declared war on us.
And it's really getting so bad, it's not even a black thing. They are trying to keep everybody in the house. They're trying to get everybody California is 5 years ahead of us. They don't even come outside for anything. They have apartment buildings with the gym, the restaurant, the supermarket, the club.
Yeah, and they never have to leave that particular area.
They don't have to leave their building. Exactly.
Right, and work at home.
And they get all their food delivered, all their clothes delivered, they shop online. They do not leave their home.
That's crazy.
So now when you're dealing with a society that's trying to make everybody socially distance and do that and take them out of the streets and off of being on the road and living their lives and getting some sunshine and all the things that life, you have the right to happiness in America. That's a right. You have the right to happiness, prosperity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they taking that away from you slowly, and you're not understanding and seeing that through with this process of this COVID and all this stuff going on. They're infecting and enforcing laws that will make a very big difference in the next 5 years.
Well, see, that's why I always say, you know, and well, let me say this. Let me go ahead and say this. I always say that those poor and working class whites that vote for Republicans, that vote against their own interests, are nothing but chickens voting for Colonel Sanders, especially poor and working class whites. What you have to understand about the elites of global white supremacy is that they hate you too. Okay? They fear us. They fear us because if you leave us alone to our own devices, we're going to excel. We have many examples of that. Rosewood, Wilmington, North Carolina, and of course, most famously, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You leave us to our own devices. You know, I like the way I heard Diddy say it. You send me out in the woods, naked. I'm coming out of there with a fur coat.
Of course.
Because that's the level of survival and resiliency that we as a people have. Now, the orange disaster. Put it like this. Imagine if you hired a guy to make your house great again. And he hired his incompetent children, stole your money, gave it away to your richest neighbors, let everyone get sick, killed your grandma, backed over your mailbox, burned down your house, and blamed it on your black friend next door. You gonna hire him again?
That you knew for over 20 years,
right?
And he always look out for you, and you always look out for him. You have this guy come in and say it was him.
Yeah, you know you gonna go with that. Jeez,
yeah, because of the skin tone, and that's what happens. Right. I believe because you're white, and that's what has to stop. That man, that right there, that's it. Man.
Yeah, that's it, bro. You know, this is the Overnight. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
WHGE
95.3 FM. Yeah.
We in there, y'all.
Yo, big up, Macy. It's good on the Facebook. Look at some big week. Thanks for tuning in. You know what I'm saying?
Also known as DCHD mission centers around two main goals.
Can't find my main
DCHD
flash drive with the regular stuff on. I had to use my backup. I thought I left it here, but it didn't show up.
No, if you leave it here, it ain't here. No.
Yeah.
Take that just on the strength of a flash drive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I had left it here before and it showed up, but well, yeah, that's what it is. Come to find out, the camera work on the computer, but the wire is so short you can't really maneuver it to do much with it. You know, try to. Yeah, that don't work. All right. Okay. All right. And I see Sherry's in the house. Vaughn's in the house. All right, Brother Vaughn. All right, back to the air. Brother, something we gotta talk about. Have you seen this clips from this movie on Netflix called Cuties?
No, clip from a movie called Cuties. No, I have to get that. I have to see that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Brother, you ain't gonna be able to watch the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I can't. Some movies I can't do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some stuff I really don't do.
Especially being a father with a daughter. How many daughters you got, bro? Two. Yeah. Well, this movie is about an 11-year-old girl who gets into or helps form a dance troupe.
Okay.
It's directed by a chick from Senegal. And what her claim is to show the hypersexuality that is being forced on children.
Well, that's true these days. I mean,
Yeah.
the media and all things that, you know, the Bible says not to do, that the thing that they supposedly go by with all their heart, but yet it's contradicting itself to the open view of the eyes of the world that don't go together. You know?
This director is full of it.
Oh, okay.
Because this movie is a pedophile's dream. She got these 11-year-old girls on there dry humping, acting suggestive, sticking their fingers in their mouth, bumping and grinding, sticking their backside, busting it open. Oh, it's just
11.
Oh, 11. They're 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah, that's ignorant.
11, 12, and 13.
They don't teach them the 6 different languages.
No.
Like when they're that young, I can remember more stuff back then than I can remember right now, getting this old. Like I can remember a lot of stuff that I would learn when I was between the ages of 11 and 15, 16. And
formative year.
Yeah, they are the most prosperous years to put your mind and put the things in your mind that makes you a better character.
Right.
And, you know, learning languages, reading, breaking down the comprehension. They don't have that. They're not teaching that anymore. Right. They're only teaching and promoting, you know, sex on sex, same sex on sex, you know. And, you know, dancing, twerking.
And I'm telling you something about the clips I've seen. Look, I'm telling you.
They don't even show their faces no more.
If you're weak-minded.
In their Instagrams. They turn around and start clapping their
clapping their backside.
Their face.
That's right. You know.
That's not attractive to a real soldier.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and if you're weak-minded, watching this thing, if you wasn't a pedophile, that allowed to make you a pedophile. Ain't no 11-year-old girl got no business busting it open and rubbing herself. No, you don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I watched 37 seconds of that. I could take no more. Right. I needed eye bleach after watching that mess.
But okay, what type of punishment do they get? Do they get punishment like the rappers that was singing cuss words or whatever and promoting all this other violence and guns? Do they get treated the same way? Is it on the same level of punishment? And don't show this and
yeah, you know. But like I said, these are 11, 12, 13-year-old girls being directed by a grown woman, okay, to do this stuff. You know, she should be punished. Netflix, Netflix put it on, and a lot of people have dropped their Netflix account. Yeah,
who held accountable? That's what I look for. They held us accountable for not even having ID.
Mm-hmm. So who's holding them accountable for this? For exploiting the children,
exploiting the kids. I mean, doing all kinds of stuff. You see it. I mean, no one's being held accountable on the white side or on the other side. I mean, and that's where it starts from.
Well, see, what they did was, you know, they put a black woman as the face of this movie. She directed it in this, that, and the other. But of course, and it's produced by some white Frenchmen, because the movie is French. So it's produced by some white Frenchmen. You know, now while this is going on, you know that the pedophiles are trying to legalize pedophilia, are trying to make it okay to have sex with the children. In California,
take my 11-year-old child, and my child come back home and say somebody had touched them, I'm gonna go blow their head off.
I don't blame you, bro.
Do time.
Like I said, you know, I have a special punishment for pedophiles. It involves pliers, some rubber gloves, and a blowtorch. That's word.
No, that's the worst, man.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yep. And then, you know, when you look at hip hop, and you look back like in the 90s, when we had Lauryn Hill teaching young black women and young black girls about empowerment and self-respect and what have you.
I was listening to this white guy. He was a speaker, and he was talking about how, you know, the media and all of it's one big connected chain that spins the planet. And he was like, through the music industry, okay, they take media and the media music industry. They say, okay, we got this song. What's the song? It's Merry Christmas Dancing with, you know, Santa Claus. Oh, we don't like that. This is an FM radio station. And on the FM radio station, hip hop hood radio station or whatever, and they don't want good music. They want to only promote the cussing, the gang, the violence, the sex, to our kids and our community. That's strategically designed.
Of course.
They don't want the Public Enemy. They don't want the Lauryn Hill you saying,
right,
or the Common, the KRS-One, the people that has the open. That's eye open. Their eyes are open to what's going on in the world, and they want to protect their kids and not only their own kids, but the kids, period. You know what I'm saying? Kids really don't have color. They only get it through their parents injecting it into them. You'll see a black and white kid playing all the time. They don't care about that because they're kids. But if you're that kid and you're getting injected with, I hate that, I hate this guy, this is an N-word, that's an N-word. I mean, and this is a white guy, this is a black guy. I mean, that confuses the kid, because I can grow up with you and have love for you, and then when I get 22 and I get racist.
Right. You get influenced by the
propaganda and all the things. And you know in your heart that I'm your boy, and that's not true. But when you get in a company of 4 or 5, you can't
express that.
Right. You can't represent for the simple fact that they'll turn on you too.
That's right.
So I mean, that's what goes down.
Yeah, that's what goes down. But you know, I want to get back to Lauryn Hill. Like I said, Lauryn Hill was teaching self-respect to young black women. Okay, the record company said, "You know what? We can't have this. Can't do it." So they found this young lady from Houston.
Cupcake in your butter cake. Who was it?
Yeah.
Clap a cupcake. I don't know.
Bootylicious. Oh yeah, she was bootylicious. Talking about black empowerment is getting a man to pay for you. Black empowerment is using your sexual your sexual prowess to get him to come out his pocket and get that bag and this, that, and the other.
Wow.
And she running around teaching this, but she making money.
Right.
You know, and Michelle Obama said this was her hero. This was a great role model. Yeah, and I'm talking about Beyonce. And that's what Michelle Obama. Now we got Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, we got Ida B. Wells, Sojourner Truth, and Bootylicious Beyonce.
But all in all,
yeah,
you have to attack with what you have to attack with.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bunch of soldiers that like Bootylicious, that only like Bootylicious and don't like nothing else, you have to send the Bootylicious in their agent in there to get them.
That's right.
And I mean, however it comes, we are built for whatever it takes to attack. You know what I'm saying? So once we applied it, Beyonce, I think she's nice. I think she's doing a lot for the
she's done.
There's only so much you can do, as you know. You know what I'm saying? So within knowing that, it's about, okay, where you go from here, D.
Yeah.
What you gonna do now, D? You got Jigga, you got Jigga on your side. You got, you know, they trying to represent the black culture as much as they can through the tools that they have to visually be able to get it to them.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about that, okay? So she got up and, you know, became probably the biggest black female star of her time.
Right.
With the Bootylicious thing. Okay? But when she got up, that influence was still there. Because now you have, look, even during the protests, young women get an audience, and what they do, they jump out in front of the damn protest and get the twerking. Baby, this is not the time for that. You know, but that's that influence. I had a young lady tell me that she was going to get some of this skin lightening cream and lighten her skin. Oh, why in the hell would you do that? Your complexion is beautiful. You know, well, Beyonce did it. See, that's that bad influence. That's a bad influence. Even when she did the Super Bowl thing.
I don't see why they want to take away the melanin protection from the sun. Yeah, the sun has always been. So
because that influence.
What is, you want protection all the time.
Yeah.
If you really understand what the white supremacists are really wanting from us, you will understand that black is okay.
Yeah, black is beautiful. Like my grandmother told me, you know, your darkness is a blessing and an honor because you were burnt in God's own furnace.
Now that's deep.
Yeah, understand that. Understand that. You know, watch these influences that's coming in on us. Gotta watch these influences coming in on us. Lord of mercy, this is the open eye. Woo.
That's right. And like the sister Ross said, we are responsible for empowering our young girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
Big shouts out to that. You know what I'm saying?
Big time. Big time. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma once again.
Open eye.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? Rob, what's good? I see you.
Hey, Bessie, I see you over there.
Tut, what's good?
What's up, Tut? Yeah, buddy. We bringing them. Lord of mercy. Let's see what else I got here. As usual, time flying.
Almost done.
I got something I gotta get to though. This is real crazy, bro. There it is. All right. Okay. WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yeah,
buddy. All right. All right. Okay. We got these Homeland Security people. They're going in. They're abusing people. Members of Congress. Oh, yeah. Members of Congress are pressing the administration, the Orange Disasters Administration, for further inquiries at the Department of Homeland Security announced this week it is looking into a whistleblower complaint that claimed that federal immigration detainees underwent unnecessary gynecological surgeries. Is that how you say gynecology? Yeah, gynecological surgeries, including full hysterectomies, without their consent. Immigration attorneys said they were interviewing detainees this week to determine how widespread the problem might be, with some clients describing experiences where parts of their fallopian tube and their ovaries were removed while they were in custody.
Now check it out. What is the most wanted things that billionaires and millionaires want the most?
Children.
No.
No.
Body parts.
Body parts. Yeah.
They turn in these gay guys into women and snatching these cervicals from women and putting real cervicals in these
transgender people.
Transgenders. So I mean, it's a hustle, and that's the new hustle, and it's called body parts.
Yeah, buddy.
Think about that.
Well, the allegations stem from a 27-page complaint compiled by Project South, an Atlanta-based advocacy group.
Wow.
The complaint lists Dawn Wooden, a former nurse at the Irwin County, and see, this ain't no conspiracy theory. This is what's going on. Dawn Wooden was the whistleblower who detailed medical neglect, such as refusal to test detainees for COVID, and the alarming practice of subjecting female detainees to hysterectomies without them fully understanding what was happening. The detention center is run by private prison company LaSalle Corrections and overseen by Immigration Custom Enforcement, U.S. Immigration Custom, ICE.
That's crazy.
Now, another part of that, another motivation for that is to keep women of color from having children.
I can see that.
Yeah, because the European birth rate, white birth rate is below 0. Okay, well, our birth rate, as much pressure as we under, it's just blooming. You just can't stop it. Where they are having problems because of their struggle genes of producing children. So their fear is that they're going to be outnumbered. So to keep from being outnumbered, and of course, part of the war on our people is the war on our families and family structure.
What's the family Planned Parenthood was started by the KKK?
Margaret Sanger. Yeah, Planned Parenthood was started by eugenist Margaret Sanger, who wanted to start. Who her eugenicist intention? Yeah, her intention
to get and steal and take and kill babies of color.
Right.
Do tests on them and everything. So you got to understand who you support, and
population control.
You got to do the history of whatever that you touch or want to participate in. Do the history.
Right.
Go back like 50 years, 100 years. And what happened back then? Now, where did this organization come from?
Right.
And then you will get a better understanding once you go through the door of how you're being treated. Because that's how you tell.
That's what. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat the failures of the past. See, now it's this program that came up out of the New York Times magazine called the 1619 Project. So you know about that for those who don't know.
1619 Project.
Yes.
That sounds like a secret administration in the government that is protecting the alien spaceships. All right.
No, actually, it's just the opposite. The 1619 Project started last year. It's an ongoing project developed by the New York Times magazine in 2019, which aims to reframe the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the United States national narrative. The project was timed for the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in Virginia colony in 1619. That's why I call it the 1619 Project. and it suggests this date represents the nation's true birth. It is an interactive project directed by Nicole Hannah-Jones, a reporter from the New York Times, with contributions by the newspaper's writers, including essays on history of different aspects of contemporary American life, which the authors believe have roots in slavery and its aftermath. Okay? Well,
like, do you think the people that came over and took the slaves, or the people and brought them over here to sell, do you think those particular people that actually sold the slaves should be held accountable?
Yes. Yeah, you mean okay, you mean the Africans that sold, are the Africans in the slavery?
I mean, everyone can be manipulated.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts. If you manipulate me to give you my son, or a friend of mine, that's still part of their manipulation.
Right.
They came over here on a plan of manipulating.
Right.
So once they got to me, and okay, yeah, you got people that participated, want a better life for themselves, and see an opportunity. Yeah, take this and take that one, take that one. Yeah, that's everywhere,
right,
in every community, every nationality. But I'm saying, okay, y'all participate in this crime. It's a crime being committed right now. So the perpetrator is coming, and then you go on cohorts with them. So yeah, they should be in trouble too.
Okay, I understand.
Now my thing is, okay, once you snatch up the product and you bring it to America and you sell it in the American market, why aren't you being arrested?
Yeah. Well, because of course then slavery, of course, was legal and what have you. And
who said does that sound legal to a thinking-minded person?
Yeah, it does if your mindset is to subjugate other people, and that was their mindset. They didn't want to work the land themselves and what have you. So it wasn't profitable to work yourself when you could get some kidnap somebody.
Right, when you go kidnap or scare somebody into working for you,
in perpetuity, and one of the things that come up is when we talk about reparations, is that shouldn't the African tribes or African nations that sold people into slavery be held responsible? Well, I'm telling you like this, all right? Who is the bigger criminal? The dude that snatched me, or the dude that bought me and held my family in bondage in perpetuity? Generation after generation after generation. Who is the biggest criminal? Especially when you consider that what the Africans did was sell prisoners of war into slavery, having no idea what chattel slavery was, of the brutality of the slavery that was practiced by the Europeans. And when most of them found out, they said, oh, no, we didn't know it was like that. Oh, we're against that. No, we're not having that. And they fought against it themselves and was often enslaved themselves. That's why 1/3 during the Atlantic slave trade, 1/3 of the African continent was decimated of its population. Now, of course, the last thing that these white supremacists want is that true history being brought out. So Trump has declared that whatever school uses the 1619 project, threatening first California, that they will cut off federal funds for teaching the reality of American history. They want people to think Confederates like Robert E. Lee was a hero. Robert E. Lee wasn't no hero. He was in prison for treason, desertion, and sedition. He was stripped of his U.S. citizenship. His land was confiscated and forfeited, and that land became a cemetery for slaves and veterans. And a lot of people don't know that. It's called Arlington National Cemetery, y'all.
Yeah, when I just rolled past there, Arlington, Virginia.
Yep, that's where. See, come on the overnight, learn something.
Yeah, you did.
Well, y'all, as usual, our time flies by.
I know, man.
So we got to get ready to shut it down and get on out of here. But let me give you something before we do. Self-knowledge. Cultural self-knowledge restoration work is not a popularity contest. You feel me? Me and Nsoromma ain't here for your popularity.
Definitely not.
You know? And the power to define will attempt to distort, demean, and undermine. Manifest ourselves to be about it. To be about self-determination, self-definition, self-validation, self-commitment, self-agency, and self-initiative. We are to free your mind so that you use it to self-educate and persistently learn, unlearn, and relearn our story so we can embrace, apply, embody, and continue the absolute very best of our global history, heritage, African culture, consciousness, traditions, values, people, achievements, and aspiration as a purposeful way of life. In the crippling, widespread generational cycle of historical amnesia, cultural alienation, fractured identities, shattered consciousness, self-erasure, self-defamation, self-blight, disorientation, anti-Africanism, apathy, delusional fantasies, disorganization, escapism, spookism, and mindless parroting and imitating of others. Be original.
Definitely be original.
Persistently do something positive, beneficial, tangible, culturally affirming, and reoccurring in our community as a vibrant, collective, necessary, urgent, prioritized, productive, and self-empowered way of life. We are our own cultural liberators, ambassadors, and advocates. We advocate for y'all.
True.
Destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. It's Dope and
I'm Nsoromma.
Patrice Gibbs.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah. Yo, good looking out, Andre.
All right.
Yeah, I see you. That drop good points too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, Jafar.
Thanks for joining us, Jafar.
Hey, I see you too, Joe. What's good with you, cuzzo? Right. Nika. I see you. You always with me. Yo, Bill, what's good? Hey, yo, I'm thinking about a rap, so get with me, link with me. Yo, boom. All right, yo, one love.